Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den After Hours. My name is Nick.
And I'm Mandy.
Yep, once again joined by my lovely and talented wife. I will say that, so someone last time, what are you shaking your head for, Mandy?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Someone last time left a comment and said, why are you guys recording separately? And would you like to address that, Mandy, or do you want me to talk about it?
No, because I don't know why.
So, yes, I am downstairs in my office. My wife is upstairs. But I don't like the way that podcast videos on YouTube look like shit most of the time. Because there's normally two people, like, across the table talking to each other and not, like, looking at the camera ever. Mm-hmm. So I think, like, video-wise, it looks bad. So, I don't know. I figured I'd try this. And,
okay.
You know.
We could always do it like we do our record videos.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But, I don't know. It still seems awkward to, like, sit there,
yes.
Especially for as long as it's different for like a normal, like, Vinyl Den episode when it's like, 10 to 15 minutes max, mm-hmm. Not like half an hour to 45 minutes. So I don't know. Like I said, we'll try this for a while. If we don't like it, I can always go back and we can do the videos in person. But Mandy, do you know what we're talking about today?
Music and education.
Yes, we're talking about music and education. I thought it'd be a great topic to have you on the show to talk about, since you are an educator. Yeah. But that's our topic. We're also gonna play. I've got another fun Billboard 200 game we're gonna play, and some other stuff lined up for today.
All right, sounds good.
There's a bunch of links down below. You got links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist that I put together every week, and the Patreon page. So make sure you check all that out. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So what else has been going on, Mandy? I know I live with you, so there's not a whole lot of breaking news, but so I know we've talked before, obviously not on the show before about it, but I've grown to love fall. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't always been that way. I always, like, for most of my life, I preferred spring was always, like, my favorite time of year. But, like, now that, like, our son plays football and it's like, I don't know, I think all that kind of plays into, how I've come to the I guess, like, realized how much I love fall. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you felt, if you felt the same way or not.
No, I think it's the same way, because I know obviously summer's my favorite time because I'm not working, but yeah. I there is so much that I look forward to in the fall, and most of it does revolve around football, but I don't want to rush my summer, but that's what I'm most excited for is the fall. Yeah. So and my birthday and Halloween, trick-or-treating, all that stuff is just so good.
Yeah, because your birthday is actually on Halloween, so you liked that when you were a kid, though, didn't you?
Yeah, because it made me feel like everybody was celebrating me. And nobody forgot my birthday, so it works out really well for me.
That doesn't sound conceited at all. But
well, what else are you supposed to do? You can't have, like, parties and stuff,
so
you got to make it special somehow.
Yeah.
Wait till you see my costume this year.
Oh, what is your costume going to be this year?
I'm not telling you till it happens.
It's going to be a surprise?
Yep.
I know you tried to convince me to go as, which was it, Travis Kelce you wanted me to go as?
Yeah. I went as Taylor Swift, one of her early videos last year.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You did, didn't you? But I forgot what else I was going to say.
Sorry.
I'm old. I forget things. But I don't know. I wanted to say that. So I went to a Notre Dame game just recently with our youngest son, Sean. We went to Notre Dame. It was a great game, but it was like the hottest fucking game I've ever been to in my life. Like, of course I should have waited like the following week when it was like the weather was actually nice, but it had been over 100 degrees in that stadium. I felt really bad because people were like lined up. Like, so when you walk out of the stands, like back into the concession area, there's like people like laying down on the concrete. I'm like, you paid all this money and you can't even like sit there and actually watch the game, because they're not cheap games to go to. But
no, I was gonna say, do you remember the trip that you and I and Ian did to the Michigan game that was super hot? And remember, we went out and like we didn't stay in at all because
No,
it was
I don't
so
remember
hot.
that.
Yeah. We went and laid in the grass
Ian went to
outside
a
of the
Michigan,
stadium.
like a Michigan football game with
That's
us?
what I remember. I remember it being Ian, but maybe we'll have to ask him. I'm like 90% sure it was.
Now that you mention it,
And then, because we just
I
went and
think
laid
we
in the
did.
yeah, it was so hot.
I think I do remember that. I think it was Michigan was playing Eastern. I think is we must have got the tickets for free.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of for Ian to go to a damn football game.
Yeah.
Because Ian's always been like Mr. Anti-Football, which he's actually gotten better the last couple of years. He says he still doesn't like watching it, but he can like, if it's on, he'll sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
He's always been Mr. Anti-Sports. But
Did you guys do anything else there?
when we went, what?
To the game?
Went to the game? I don't know. Did we do anything else?
No, I met you and Sean.
No, that's what I mean. Like, did we do? No, we just walked around. I mean, Notre Dame has a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to walk around, but no. Did we do something else? Am I forgetting something?
No, I just thought you were going to talk about walking around campus.
Oh.
Going and seeing the grotto and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, it is. I think, so yeah, I love going to Notre Dame. They've got a beautiful campus to go to. Of course, with the grotto and the basilica and all that stuff, it's really, it's a unique campus, I think, also. 'Cause I've been on several college campuses over the years, but it was so damn hot.
Yeah.
That kind of ruined everything. The other kind of weird thing about going to Notre Dame is, like, if you go to like a Michigan football game, or I've been to Michigan games, I've been to Wisconsin, saw a game in Wisconsin quite a few years ago, but like you could walk around the stadium, or at least outside the stadium, and buy T-shirts and sweatshirts and all the like the normal game day stuff, but you can't at Notre Dame. Everything is sold in the bookstore. So if you got 70,000 plus people there for a football game, that bookstore gets crazy busy. Like the line. So Sean and I went in to go buy. I wanted to buy a T-shirt because Notre Dame does. It's called the shirt every year. So they do like a special shirt. That's the shirt every single year, or for the entire season. So I wanted to go in there and buy the shirt. It was typically pretty cheap. It's like $25 or whatever. But the line to like check out was wrapped like through the store, like almost to like the front entrance.
Wow.
Like there was like hundreds of people standing in line. So someone was like, "Oh, there's a self-checkout upstairs."
Oh.
I was like, "Sweet." So we got out of line.
Oh, no.
Walked upstairs to a self-checkout, and I was like, "Oh, there's a self-checkout." And then I like followed the line, like wrapped all the way around the inside of the building. It did go pretty fast though, because there's I think 8 self-checkout
Oh, okay.
like machines there, and they've got employees standing there like calling people over, hey, number 6 is open, number 1 is open. So it actually moves pretty decently fast, but still we stood in line for probably 40 minutes.
Oh my
to just to check out. But yeah, it was that's the like one downside about going to the campus there, is you can't just like walk around. There's not like multiple merchandise booths to buy different stuff at. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always fun. It's been a decade since I've been to a Notre Dame football game, so it was cool. It was great. It was great to see Notre Dame win too, because they don't have a great record when I go to football games, as you know, because we've seen them lose in triple overtime in like the coldest game on earth.
That was horrible.
It was 2014 against Northwestern. I think it was triple overtime that they lost it.
Yeah.
Like it must have been like 10 or 15 degrees outside. There was like 6 inches of snow in this damn stadium. It was horribly cold. It was easily the coldest game I've ever been to. Like you and Jack like kept going in the bathroom
Under
like,
the heat warmer. And every time it went into overtime, the whole stadium would groan, and they're like, "No, we all just wanted to go home."
Yeah. We saw them lose to Navy, which they never ever lose to Navy. We saw the first game they lost at home to Navy in like 50 years. We were there for that game also. But we were also, I don't know if you remember, but it was like it was probably like 2011. We went to, it was senior day at Notre Dame. And they were playing Boston College, and it was like the worst rainy day ever. Like I remember just being soaking wet the entire day. But it was completely like the first game we ever went to at Notre Dame. It was like, I didn't know how weather was going to be, because it was like beginning of October, late September, early October. So weather could be really iffy in the Midwest then. and it was like this beautiful, like 73-degree day and sunny, and like, so every other time I'm like, please let the weather be like that.
Nope.
And it never is. Like, it's horrible weather. It's either like hotter than hell. You're like baking off. It feels like you're baking on the sun, and then or cold as hell. But the game we went to with Jack was in, I think that was in November. I think, because it had to have been for it to be snowing.
Yeah, I'll say I know we took winter coats and everything, so that's probably accurate.
Yeah. But we didn't come here to talk about Notre Dame football. But I did want to ask you something, Mandy. I want to know what you've been listening to lately.
Oh, not again. I told myself to practice for this. Well,
is it still only Taylor Swift?
No. Well, I mean, that is still a big one, but
yeah.
I've had Reese in the car with me a lot, so I've been listening to a lot of her music, and a lot of that.
Our daughter has some very strange music.
Very, very interesting. But she was listening to that. Is it Chappelle Rowan, or I don't know how you say it?
Chapel Roan.
Chapel Roan. Yeah. So I've been listening to a lot of that. Her stuff's catchy.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it though. I don't know. I've only listened to her album, I think, maybe once or twice max.
Yeah.
I mean, I should listen to it again, but I don't know. This is going to sound really bad or really sexist, but when it comes to like female singers, I don't know. They're like, I don't know. I feel like they're hit or miss for me. What are you shaking your head for?
Oh, I just listening.
Listen to me dig a hole. Yeah, but I don't know. There's a lot of female singers that I think technically sound good, but I don't know. I don't know if I just don't connect with their music.
Yeah.
But I'm not somebody that necessarily has to. Like, I can listen to Olivia Rodrigo, and she writes songs basically for 16 and 17-year-old girls. I still like her music because I can connect to it. I can connect to not necessarily the lyrics of the song, but the emotion of the song.
Yeah.
Or the emotion that she's trying to convey through the song. I can connect to. But I don't know. Like I said, with Chapel Roan, the first time I listened to it, I don't know. It was okay. It wasn't like horrible, but it was just something I didn't connect to. I definitely need to give her another shot though. But what else have you been listening to?
Anything Sean plays. So we got a lot of like sports theme songs that we're always listening to, and then he'll switch over to country, and then we're listening to John Denver. Like, he is like the broadest
all over the place
thing of music I've ever seen. Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love, because then he'll start rapping to Ice Cube. So like, whatever.
So he was the only one of our kids that were born in Tennessee. So he's a Tennessee Volunteers fan. So I have to hear Rocky Top, I feel like 17 times a week because of him. But I'm slowly trying to convert him over to Notre Dame though. But
I don't know. I think he'll still stay Tennessee. He's Tennessee at heart for sure.
Yeah, he's a Tennessee Titans fan too. So
yeah.
But is that all you've been listening to, Mandy? Anything else?
Yeah, because as you know, I travel for work, and normally I listen to music, but I've been actually listening to my crime podcast in between schools. So just digging people's bones up, and then I go teach kids. It's really fun.
Speaking of that, I went to nursing school with a girl. I don't remember what her name was, but she was really weird. She's probably one of the odder people I've probably ever come across. And she did like, it was like a mobile embalming service or something like that. Basically, she would just like go around. People would call her in the middle of the night. She'd go pick up bodies and like take them back and like do whatever she needed to do to them. But yeah, she was telling me all sorts of weird stories about bodies and stuff like that. I don't know. I just, when you were talking about crime and digging up bones and things, they just popped into my head. But very, very odd person. But I don't even know if she ended up graduating nursing school. I don't remember what she ended up doing. But so for stuff I've been listening to, of course, The Cure just released their new single Alone. Which, have you listened to it yet, Mandy?
No, I started it and then we ended up getting out of the car and didn't finish it. So
I know you've never been a fan of The Cure, and it's a like dark, gloomy kind of song. I don't know. I love it. I think the first song's fantastic. Reese is a big fan of The Cure also. Actually, she went and saw them live with me last year, and actually they opened the concert with Alone, the first single off the new album. So yeah,
that's cool.
So that's kind of cool. During the concert, I think they played 5 songs from 5 of the 8 songs off of the new album at the concert last year. So at least I've already heard live versions of them. It's weird to hear live versions before like a year before the album actually comes out, because I think Robert Smith even talked about during the concert was, they've been working on these songs for like several years, quite a few years now. It's been 16 years since they released a new album, and he's changed these songs multiple times over the years, and so who knows, it probably changed quite a bit from the time they played some of those songs live until they actually recorded them for the album. So
gotcha.
I'm excited for the new album. I've been listening to that. Do you know who Billy Strings is?
Mm-mm.
I've been listening to his new album. It just came out on Friday, or this past Friday, and actually you might like it. Maybe it's not typically my kind of music. It's bluegrass, like really strong, like country bluegrass. I think you might really like it if you check it out. I was surprised how much I actually enjoyed this album, though.
Yeah.
Because I heard a lot of people talking about it lately, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Every week I try to stream new stuff that comes out on Fridays. So I was like, I'll stream that album. And I listened to it. I was like, oh, well, it's actually a pretty damn good album. I considered picking up a copy of it on vinyl, but I think it's like almost $50 for the album. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good just streaming it.
Yeah.
But it is a good album. You should check that one out.
All right.
And then I don't know why I've been in a big Black Sabbath kick lately too. So, and not like the more popular Black Sabbath stuff. I've been listening to like Technical Ecstasy, Never Say Die, which is the last couple of albums they did with Ozzy. I've listened to 13 also, which was their like reunion album with Ozzy in the mid to late 90s. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't really listen to Black Sabbath a whole lot. Like periodically I'll listen to an album here or there. But yeah, I've been listening to them a lot lately. But I don't know. It's kind of what I've been listening to. We don't typically... I mean, we do ride around in cars a lot together, but typically I'm driving, so I'm typically listening to what I want to listen to. So I that's why I always want to ask. Yeah, thanks, dear. Thanks.
You could play something we both like.
That's true, and I do sometimes.
I honestly think you seriously think what does she hate the most, and then that's what you play every single time. I'm like, really? True. That's what it feels like.
Because a lot of times when we're out doing stuff. Typically if we're driving somewhere, if we're going to be gone for a while, I'll put on Sirius XM and we'll listen to the 90s station on Sirius, which is really good. There's a lot of stuff on there that we both like. So
yeah, that's good.
I don't try to torture you too much. And one more thing before we get to the topic, I did want to play one game with you, Mandy. I love doing these Billboard 200 games. I love trying to torture you and stump you with these lists. So we're going to go back to when is this? So this episode comes out on October 2nd, right? Yeah, October 2nd. This episode comes out. So we're going to go back to the week of October 7th, 2006. Since our daughter just turned 18, she was born in 2006. I figured we'd go back to this week, way back 18 years ago, maybe. Can you tell me what the number one album the week of October 7th, 2006 was?
So we were still living here in Michigan.
Yep.
Can you give me the genre?
It was a pop album.
That's what I figured. Okay. All right, next clue. I don't know when music came out.
I'm trying to think of if I give you... I'm trying to think of a good clue to give you that isn't going to give it away.
Okay.
You have seen him in concert multiple times.
Cricket.
Nothing.
Just him by himself?
No, he was with an ensemble.
That's what I thought.
When you saw him.
It's not NSYNC, is it?
It might be a member of NSYNC.
Oh,
Mandy.
Justin Timberlake. Okay, yes. I gotcha.
Yes. Yeah, Future Sex Love Sounds was number one. Actually, it had only been on the chart for 2 weeks at that point. I was actually surprised. This number 2 album that week was 1,000 Different Ways by Clay Aiken.
Oh,
wasn't he the guy? It was from season 2 of
American Idol,
wasn't it? Yeah. That was it debuted at number 2 that week. The album at number 3 debuted at number 3 was The Duchess by Fergie.
Okay.
Which I don't know. Was that her one big album, I think?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like it was, I don't know. I felt like it was before that, but maybe not.
And then Kenny Chesney Live was at number 4, which I I don't know. Kenny Chesney's okay. I was never been a big fan of. I mean, I'm not a big country music fan anyway.
No, you're not.
He's got a couple of decent songs.
I love his music. His music is my summer music.
Because it's
a
like
lot of those.
It's like feet in the sand on the beach kind of songs.
Yeah, with your beer in your hand. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever. I think I've listened to one Kenny Chesney album all the way through. I don't know if I've ever listened to more than that though. But John Mayer Continuum was at number 5. B-Day by Beyonce was 6. From This Moment On by Diana Krall, I don't know who the hell that is, was at number 7. And then a whole bunch of people I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird week for music. Lupe Fiasco. Mm-hmm. Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor. Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Really?
I can't. Yeah, I know the name. I can't tell you what song or whatever was super famous. But yeah,
that was at number 8. Hoodstar by Chingy was at number 9.
You don't remember Chingy?
No, I don't remember that. Can you sing any of it, Mandy?
No, but I know who he is.
Yeah, but I don't know the album.
Well, I probably do once I hear a song.
Yeah. And then Extreme Behavior by Hinder was at number 10, which Hinder was one of those one-hit wonder bands from the 2000s.
Yep.
I think that was the album they had their one-hit wonder off of. But I don't know. It was the top 10 was not very strong that week, at least in my opinion. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people out there that love a lot of those albums, but
right.
I am not one of them. Well, see, it didn't take too many clues to guess at that time, did it, Mandy?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
Do you not like playing that game?
I don't know.
It's hard.
I just don't know when music's come out. I have no idea what their years are, so.
Yeah, because it's something because you were never I don't feel like you were a big albums person. I feel like at least from the time we started dating in the late 90s, mm-hmm. You were one of those people, you had this huge binder of CDs in your car, but we'd go on a long road trip, and I swear to God, man, you'd put in a CD, listen to 1 or 2 songs, pop that out, put another CD in, listen to 1 or 2 songs. It's ever changing.
Yep.
So, which makes sense why.
I just like my favorite songs and the songs that I already know the words to that I can sing, especially on road trips.
Yeah. So I guess it makes sense why you're never, you don't remember,
mm-hmm.
this album came out this year, other than No Strings Attached. I know that came out in 2000 because you guys lined up at midnight to go buy the damn album.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's a fun game to play. I like playing them. I like to. It's easier. I think it's easier to stump you than it is Ian with.
100%.
But we do have a topic we're going to get to.
Okay.
And like I said, it's because I thought this was a great topic to talk about you with, because not only are you a music person, you've been a vocalist, you sang your entire life, you sang with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra and all the other fun stuff. So you have this, I think, unique perspective on the importance of music in education. Mm-hmm. And you can correct me. It feels like something. You can correct me if I'm wrong, is what I meant to say, but it feels like something that we've kind of gotten away from in a lot of ways. At least I'm not in schools anymore,
right?
But it seems like it seems like it's something easy to cut off of a budget when schools need to make the bottom line work better. I don't know, is it still something that's really prevalent and important in schools that you see?
So, being in special ed, it definitely is. So I see it everywhere. We have music therapists and everything that go to all these classrooms to work with our students. But in the gen ed buildings, there are those ones that you get a cart and they go to classrooms. They don't have a room for a choir or a room for art. Those are a lot of the things that they kind of, I don't want to say cut first because they're still there, but they're not. How do you travel with all your musical instruments, class to class, building to building. But it's still there. It's still very important. But
yeah, because I remember when I was in elementary school, I still vividly remember walking into the music room, and there's mm-hmm. Shelves lined up with all these different instruments you can play, and we sit in a circle and play songs, and it was fun. I think that people don't really understand everything that comes out of mm-hmm. music. You're not just playing a drum, you're not playing a tambourine. There's so many other skills that come from that. Whether it's like cognitive skills or mathematics skills.
Yep.
There's so many other things that like you can gain from music.
Did you know that music improves your cognitive skills twice as much as sports or theater or dance?
Really?
Yep, twice as much.
Well,
it's pretty cool.
Sports, you're just banging your head, so it's like you're losing some cognitive skills there. You're gaining some CTE,
you still, still learn a lot in sports, but so, and actually like playing an instrument, it creates cell regeneration in your brain.
That's interesting. I'm not surprised by it at all, but even if you look at like the emotional aspect or the social development that goes along with having a structured quality musical education program in your schools. I think it's also something that I know you've talked about, obviously not on the show, but in person we've talked about a lot. The schools have like cut out recess in most of them, so at least there is some kind of outlet. A music class provides some kind of outlet for children. Obviously, it's not the same as recess or an actual like free movement environment, but
no, there's just so many benefits to it, especially in special ed too, because when you start looking at these kids that can't communicate verbally, and then you turn music on and these kids could sing, because singing comes from a different side of the brain that talking does. So a lot of these kids that can't talk to you, you hear them sing, and that is just, it's the coolest thing in the world, because you're like, oh my God, they're saying words, but then you try and say something and you won't get anything back. So it's just neat to see how they can respond to music as well. The beat, the rhythm, like they just, it's beautiful to see that.
Yeah. I think there's another aspect to like music education that gets overlooked a lot. And I think it's like this understanding of patience, like to wait for your turn.
Yep.
It's not like you can't just play whatever you want, all the time. It's, you have to sit there, wait for somebody else to do their part of it, and then you get to play your part.
Yep.
It's so, that's kind of like what I was getting at with the whole topic, was there's so many different aspects to music education that bleed off into other areas that I think without that music education, you lose some of that positive reinforcement or some of the growth that you would gain from having a proper education in music.
That's another thing that the music therapists work on big time. You notice our behaviors in our classrooms improve. That's why we do a lot of that, because it's exactly like what you said. It's waiting, and it's not only just the songs where you have to wait, but it is waiting your turn for an instrument, waiting your turn to sing. But the kids get so excited when music comes in too, so I think that really helps a lot of children want to be in school, because they have that outlet where they can feel free, where they can feel they can express their individualism, as opposed to like when you're in your math class all day and everybody's doing the same thing and you can't do anything different, because there's not a different way to solve that problem. It just is what it is. So it's just a big motivator.
I think another thing that music helps is I guess perseverance maybe is the best way to put it, is like you have to practice to get better at what you're doing. And I think for a lot of kids, that don't play sports or something like, or like extracurricular activities, that might be the only thing in their life when they're younger that they have to practice at to get better at.
Yeah.
And as a child, as a younger, early teen, just elementary through like middle school, it's really important to have a kid work at something and see results, see positive results. That is something that can give they can gain confidence off of. It's kind of help them like with even like mental health and things like that. To improve also.
100%. It creates teamwork too. If you're in the band or choir, not just when you're doing it for yourself, you're learning teamwork and cooperation, empathy, because you don't want to let your friends down. You learn nonverbal communication from each other because you start watching people to understand when is your cue. So you're learning all these different skills to promote teamwork and all that. So.
Yeah. We even use like music therapy in the hospital. Obviously, we don't use it in the emergency department because it's like
it's not necessary. Yeah.
So, I wish it was, but like if you go to other parts of the hospital, they've got like, people sitting there playing piano, or they've got something that goes around the hospital. I think it's a harp that they go around and play and do like music therapy with patients, and especially if you go over to like the children's hospital, they do a lot of musical therapy and stuff over there also. Because I think it really kind of helps, especially it helps people, I think, in the hospital setting with like long-term illness. It really kind of helps bring up their spirits and things like that, and help them in different ways.
It just makes you feel good. They have like it releases endorphins, and it builds your brain, makes your brain stronger because it actually builds connections. So it's just keeps you agile.
So whenever I see, because I guess I haven't seen it in a while, but there for like a good several years, it seemed like every single year there was another news story coming out about how this big school was cutting their music program because they didn't have funding for it. But they find funding for, and I'm a big sports person, but they can find funding to, build up their football stadium,
right,
or improve their football stadium, or build new practice facilities, but they don't have music. They don't have the funding for a music program, which I think there's a lot of schools where the priorities are wrong.
Well, even here in town, if you look, our choir director, our theater director, she has to have so many different fundraisers just to raise money. I've not seen football do one fundraiser. So there's not necessarily any need for it there. They have their funding, but she has to ask for help for every single thing that they do. So it is just kind of unfortunate, but
actually our football, the athletic department at our local school actually got a $1 million gift to help build their new football stadium. So, and that's why we've talked about it before. Like if we ever had the money to do it, I would love to donate money to build
auditorium,
an auditorium for the school, and help build up not only their theater program, but also their music program.
Yeah, they need more. Like my daughter, she always wanted to play. Our daughter, orchestra. She
my
always,
daughter too, damn it.
Right? She always wanted to play the violin, but that's just not something they offered here. And it's we just didn't make the kind of money to be able to support her to go out of town to go somewhere that does teach. So they just they have the band and choir. That's it.
And even if I don't even know who in the area, or you probably have to drive at least a half an hour even to find somebody that was a violin instructor.
We have a nice place in town, but they're mostly like guitar or singing or
piano.
Dance. Piano.
Because the kids Jack and Reese both did piano classes there for a while.
And they were so good. It made me so sad.
One little recital and then they both quit. Was there a reason why they quit, or was it just...
They just didn't want to go back, I guess. Yeah.
Jack... I didn't remember if it was like the pandemic hit or something like that, or if it was prior to all that. That's all I was trying to remember.
It was prior to that, but they... Gosh, how old were they? It was before Jack got his license, right? Yeah, because I was taking him, so...
Okay.
So it could have been right before the pandemic, actually. Now I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know if there was a reason that they stopped doing it, or if they just got tired of all the
work,
strenuous work that they had to put into it.
Yes, exactly.
Our lazy children.
No, Jack's not.
None of our kids are. But.
Yeah, they keep themselves busy other ways. So.
Yeah. I don't know, Mandy. Is there anything else you have to add to it there?
I just think like some of the other benefits too that you don't think about, coordination and motor skills, like even fine motor skills, your snapping, your clapping, tapping. And then math, like it makes you so much smarter in math. Like I think it's like 69% or whatever of people that study music and math, they like are, what is it, 3 times as advanced as some of the other people, just because music.
Really?
Yeah, because if you think about it, you've got counting, you've got fractions, you've got your time signature, you got rhythms, you got beats per minute, you learn about notes, so you learn quarter notes, you learn half notes, you learn how that feels, patterns, scales, intervals, like there's harm in everything. Like when I think of, when I see or hear music, I see notes, I see math, I see everything in thirds, because I know my scale and everything. It's so weird how it just changes your brain to really help with math. So I just think that's something important too. And when you think about teaching these kids too, music obviously creates memories, which also helps when you're trying to memorize things. So these kids learn, the state song or whatever it is. That's how they learn these things. If you do it through repetition with these songs, it really sticks in their head, and then they can be like, replay it like the alphabet or whatever, and then know what comes next. Or it's a really useful tool for everything.
I'm sure. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was thinking about, was like, there's so many like aspects to music education that people might be sitting at home and they're like, oh, it's just, the kids, banging on a drum in school.
Yeah.
No, they're actually using so many other things. So many other like different skills that they need for other classes, or, like I said, cognitive skills, all sorts of different things that go into music education that maybe a lot of people don't think about.
Yep.
When they're like, oh yeah, the school needs to cut some money, let's just cut the music program, or we'll get rid of that classroom and put all their musical instruments on a cart and have her wheel it around to different schools, which makes absolutely no sense.
Absolutely none.
I don't know. It's something that I think that more schools need to invest more money into, obviously. And that's, like I said, that's coming from somebody who is a huge sports fan. I know that, people are, spending, $5, $6, $7 a person to go to a football game. And a lot, not that many people are paying a bunch of money to go to a band concert.
Oh, they
So
wouldn't.
I get
Nobody would show up if they required you to pay to come to a concert. So it's kind of sad,
Yeah, so I get it. Like basketball, football, wrestling in some areas are like your big money sports. So they're going to get the investment, but schools also need to, put more attention towards their musical program, because it helps their kids. It helps the students. It helps grades. It helps them become better people.
Yep. What did I think? There was like 24% more likely to graduate if you've studied music while you've been there.
Really?
So it's just, it's like I said, it's there. Like the proof is there. The research, and like you said, if they would put more money into it, then they would see a bigger outcome, as a whole throughout the school with these kids.
I don't remember if you mentioned it yet, but like the whole creativity, I think I guess I'll kind of wrap all this up with that last point is, having that creative outlet. Even though a lot of kids in elementary school, middle school, they're not writing their own music. But they're, it's giving them the basis that if they do want to have a musical creative outlet, they'll have the skills to do it. So it's just another form of helping kids express themselves in just maybe a different way. I guess the last point I wanted to make, I guess.
Yep. And you can't get it wrong. You don't get an E in choir unless you just don't participate. If you sing off key, it's okay. You just make a mistake, and mistakes are okay. Well, if you make a mistake in another class, your grade goes down. So it doesn't build you up.
I don't know, but I'd love to know what everyone else out there thinks. Make sure you drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think about music education. Do you think more schools need to invest more money into it? Because I think as someone who has grown up with music, I've been playing musical instruments since I was, 15 years old. So 30 years now. Jesus, it's a long time. But yeah, I definitely think it's something important that
absolutely
gets overlooked and gets cut way too many times, and especially in like lower income areas where they do need to cut budgets in schools. It's just easy one to knock out. But I think they needs to be more important in every school district. But let us know what you guys think. If you got any questions or comments, you can email us at Mandy. Do you know what our email address is? No.
I don't want to say it wrong.
Email address is?
The Vinyl Den something.
Yes, the Vinyl Den channel at gmail.com. But you can check us there. You can email us there. You can check us out on Facebook. Go to Facebook. You can always just drop comment in the videos also. But anything else you want to add, Mandy?
That's it.
Well, until next time, talk to you later. Peace.